Welcome to What in the Duck podcast. I'm your host, Oliver Peck. What in the Duck podcast is proud to be sponsored by Dream Machines of Texas, www.dreammachinesoftexas.com. All your used motorcycle wants and needs all in one place at www.dreammachinesoftexas.com. They have multiple locations with large inventory and get new bikes in every week. Knowledgeable staff with great service and financing and extended warranty options available. They also have a complete service garage, so every bike is gone through and brought up to speed before you hit the road. I have bought more than a few bikes from Dream Machines over the years, and I could not be more satisfied. I've also had friends from all over the country buy bikes from Dream Machines because they couldn't find a better deal anywhere. You can buy a bike and have it shipped to you anywhere in the U.S. Why buy a brand new bike with that brand new high price when you can get a like-new bike with that dream deal you've been looking for? Go to www.dreammachinesoftexas.com and get a bike and get your ass on the road. All right, we are rolling. Welcome to another episode of What in the Duck podcast. I'm your host, Oliver Peck, and today we have a guest named Becky Goebel. Her nickname is Axel. On Instagram, it's Axel, right? That's the name. And she is a badass motorcycle riding, chopper building, event putting on, merch having, badass chick in the motorcycle world. And super cool to get her on here today. I was lucky enough to link up with her at the party at the Penn motorcycle show, which I've talked about quite a bit, and motorcycle show inside the old Idaho State Penitentiary in Boise, Idaho, put on by Luke Morris from Chop Merch. Good buddy, great show, really killer show. Oh my God, amazing. And we recorded the episode inside the maximum security wing of the prison. It's a concrete building with metal bars. Probably going to have some weird noises going on in the background and a lot of echoing sounds from being inside basically like a dungeon, but super cool atmosphere and a great interview. So stay tuned for interview with Axel. It's going to be great. And I got a couple questions to kick it off. First question from Joshua Grossner. Or not, there's no in there, so just Grosser. Grosser. Is it gross? Grosser. All right. He said, I've heard you talk about how reluctant of a seller you are, but has there ever been a motorcycle you are glad you sold, like the kind of motorcycle that's such a pain in your ass that you never want to see it again? The answer to that it's just a short question. The answer is no. Next question. Just kidding. But yeah, the answer is no. Unfortunately, well, I don't know if it's unfortunately or not, but whatever. I'm the kind of person that I get attached to pretty much anything that I hold in my possession for even a short amount of time. I just have this, whether it's a condition, you could call it. I don't know, a disease, whatever it is. But I just grow attachments to things, and once I have something, I just feel like it just grows. Anything I put in my house or my garage or my pocket, it just grows roots and wants to stay there forever. And so anything I get rid of, it's like you got to rip it out by the roots, and it's a painful experience. Thus, I am considered by some a hoarder. I would consider myself a collector. I'm definitely an accumulator of things. I just love to accumulate things. I love to amass stuff and pile it together and just cram it in every nook and cranny till it's filled to the rim. But I've sold a few motorcycles out of necessity. I've sold a few motorcycles out of, when you sell something because you need money, it sucks. Because at the time, you get this moment of relief that the financial burden has been lifted. But then life goes on, and you work hard, and you get yourself back to an area where you're not hurting. Hopefully, you get to a point where you've overcome the loss. But then you've spent the money that you got from selling the item. The money's gone. The item is gone, and you're just like, you have neither. So it's always a bummer in retrospect. On a long enough timeline, it's always a bummer, for me anyway. When you sell an item or trade an item for something that you still have, then it doesn't hurt as bad, or you don't feel as the sadness is not really there. Like, I've traded some motorcycles, and I have the motorcycle that I traded for, and I like that a lot. I like that a lot. I like trading something, because then somebody gets what they want and you get something you want, and then it kind of continues the existence of the massive things. Or when I sell something because I'm out of room. If you have, small garage and you have, you can't fit it in, you got to get rid of it. You're making room for something else. So that kind of helps it out too. But either way, whenever you lose something or sell something or whatever, there's always, for me, with the attachment I grow, there's always that bit of sadness and that bit of remorse. Seller's remorse is something I've pretty much had with every sale. I've told this story before, but I sold some bicycles in about 1999. And I think about those bicycles at least once a week. Since 1999, I think about those bicycles. And I'm like, damn it. Yeah, I had a matching pair of Schwinn Super Deluxe Stingrays, California Gold, white seats. They were one serial number apart. They came off the factory line side by side. They were bought out of a Schwinn dealership in Dallas, Texas, in 1966, and they belonged to twin boys who both died young in a tragic accident. And then the bike sat in a barn until the 90s. And then I got them and had them for years. And then they were so amazing that a lot of people desired them, and I ended up in a moment of weakness selling them to a guy who ended up splitting them up, and who knows what happened with them since. And it's very sad. And like I said, 1999, that's a long time ago. That's like, do some math. That's decades, bud. And there's 52 weeks in a year. That's 500 weeks that I've been thinking about those bikes. I don't think I'll ever get over it. I do have a collection of Schwinn bicycles now, and I do not have any bicycle in my collection that matches those two bikes. So basically what I'm saying is I'm an idiot. I shouldn't have sold them. And it's an opportunity that'll never return. And I just have to continue my life in constant remorse and sadness at the loss of those beautiful bicycles. And if you get the big hardbound book on Schwinn bicycles, about the history of Schwinn bicycles, the bike on the cover of the book is a bike, one of those bikes. And it's, not the actual ones I had, but that make and model. So very cool. And I miss them. Wherever you are, guys, I'm thinking about you. And that's it, Joshua. Thanks for your question. I have a habit of giving people more than they ask for when they answer these questions. So come on and send your questions on over to whatintheduckpodcast@gmail.com. I'm happy to answer them. And so far, the response is out. People like hearing the answers. So keep them coming. David Horton, next question. He says, "Hey, Oliver, loving the podcast. Thanks, guys. I've never been on a motorcycle in my adult life, but I've always loved bikes and wanted to get one. I have friends that ride and have their own thoughts. But in your opinion, what would be a good starter bike, style, brand, setup, etc., for someone with no experience?" All right, Dave. I know a lot of people are probably going to tell you, if anybody's into Harley Davidsons, a lot of people always tell you if your starter bike, you should get a Sportster. I would say whatever you do, don't get a Sportster. That's not the starter bike. People think that a Sportster is smaller and therefore you should get that to start on. That is not the case. A Sportster is smaller because it's lighter weight, because it's sporty. That's why it's called a Sportster. It's not called the Chiller. You're not supposed to chill out on it. You know, it's a Sportster. It's a sporty bike. It's got a higher center of gravity, which means it's harder to handle. It's got a shorter wheelbase, which means it's going to be a tighter radius. It's going to be, a little more rigid. It's not as comfortable of a stance. And it's a sporty bike. It's not something you should get as a starter bike. It's a little bit harder to ride. It's a more experienced, in my experience, it's a more experienced ride to ride good on a Sportster. You can get a more comfortable bike that's easier to ride, that you can learn on before you go before you get on a sporty type bike. I also don't recommend getting any kind of, I love sport bikes, and I rode sport bikes for many, many years. I had Triumphs and Ducatis and stuff of that nature. I do not recommend that being your first motorcycle either. Not something super comfortable, and they just have, the power range is just too insane, and it's too easy to whip out, and it's too easy to get out of control. And the sportier handling bikes take a little bit more experience. I also don't recommend getting something with really low power. A lot of people say, "Oh, you want a really small bike, something with really low power so you can't go fast." I don't recommend that to learning to ride on the road either, because there are situations where you need to be able to get up to speed to get out of the way of danger. Like somebody's coming up behind you. You need to be able to accelerate to get away from them so you don't get rear-ended, stuff like that. And just because a bike might have a little bit more powerful of a motor, you need to be smart enough not to do 100 miles an hour. And if, that's just because the bike can doesn't mean you should. Also, if you're before you start riding on the street, I recommend, if possible, getting some sort of motorcycle that's tall enough for you to feel comfortable on, some sort of dirt bike or some sort of off-road, half off-road bike that you can just ride around without the danger of traffic, just to get the feel of riding for a little bit of time. Get some hours under your belt of riding around and just a feel of how to brake and clutch and accelerate and stop and start and, all the things before you get on the street. Nowadays, it's pretty much a necessity to take a motorcycle riding course to get your motorcycle license. In the old days, you could just go to the DMV, sign up, and take a riding test. But nowadays, it's really hard to get your motorcycle license unless you take one of these riding courses. And I also agree that it's just the best because they have the bike for you. You don't have to worry about getting your, if you go to the DMV, you have to get your insurance and the bike and all the stuff done before you go and take this test. Here, you can just take take this course. It's a couple days. They have a really good introduction to riding motorcycles. No matter if you have experience or not, they still run everybody through the same thing. And the courses are great. And you just learn all the fundamentals, and then you can get your license. But once you get your license, I don't recommend just saying, "Oh, I got my license now, I'm ready to go and hit the road and ride across country." You need to spend some time on the bike. But as far as what bike I recommend you do get, aside from brand, or anything like that, because, everybody has their own taste. I personally like Harley Davidsons, but you should get a motorcycle that fits your size, that you're comfortable on. Now, whatever style you like and whatever brand you like, every brand makes many different models. So get the bike that you fit on, get the bike that you're comfortable on. Because if you're comfortable on the motorcycle, you can just pay attention and getting used to operating the motorcycle. If you're uncomfortable on the motorcycle, then you're battling that and trying to learn at the same time. So it's counterproductive. So a lot of people are like, well, I really like these cafe style bikes and I want to be cool and blah, blah, blah. And they're really uncomfortable to ride. And so it's harder to learn because you're battling just being comfortable in the first place. And that's pretty much it, man. I think that's my advice. My other advice I give to all new motorcycle riders is I say, once you get a motorcycle and once you are in the process of learning to ride, just ride around your neighborhood for weeks before you go get on the main road with lights and intersections and highways and all that. Just ride around your neighborhood for weeks. Just ride around in circles on the neighborhood, or ride to your friend's house that you can get too close or whatever, and do all that. But the main thing I tell people is whenever you're at home and you're chilling and it starts raining, get your shit on, get on your bike, and go ride around the neighborhood. Because someday you're going to be out on your motorcycle in the middle of nowhere or wherever you're going, and it's going to start raining, because that's just how the world fucking works. And you don't want that surprise to be the first time you ride your motorcycle in the rain. So if for the first couple months of you owning the motorcycle, every time it rains, you get out and ride around the neighborhood, you get comfortable, then I'm not saying that you should just plan all your trips around when it's raining. I'm just saying, like, get comfortable in riding in the rain, because someday you're going to be out there and you don't want to just be going down the road and the rain hit and then the traffic hits and you're like, ah, and then you jam on the front brake and next thing you know, you're sliding underneath a truck. Because riding a motorcycle in rain is possible. We do it all the time, but it is something you need to learn how to do. Because you can't just guarantee that it's going to be sunny. And we ride motorcycles across the country every year for many number of things. Talk about Bike Riders Tour. But people are like, oh, what are you doing in rain? It's like, well, we keep going. You got rain gear, you keep going. And if you're going to ride across the country, you're definitely going to get in the rain at some point. I recommend whenever you go on a new trip across country, for all the experienced motorcycle riders out there that ride across the country, something I've found to be some sort of a little, what do you call it, a life hack or a cheat code, is if the first day of the trip, you go spend a bunch of money on brand new rain gear, it probably won't rain at all. And that's happened to me like 5 times. But if you leave the road and you're just like, my rain gear's fucked up. I don't have rain gear. It'll be fine. If the weather looks good, it's not going to rain. You leave town without good rain gear, you're just going to get dumped on the whole time. So, that's pretty much what I say. So in this episode, we're going to talk a lot about motorcycles, at least a little bit about motorcycles. Our guest is Becky Goebel, and Axel is Lexi, and she does a lot of cool shit with motorcycles. If you don't know about Axel, check her out. She does a lot of cool shit with Harley Davidson. She does a lot of cool shit with chopper events and getting women into not only riding, but participating in the motorcycle community and also building bikes or being a part of building bikes or having bikes built, or, a lot of custom cool shit going on with chicks on choppers. So I'm excited to have her on, and I think I've known her for a few years, and she's just super cool, and she does super cool shit, and she actively rides a lot. So she's a badass chick on a motorcycle. And there's a lot of dudes in the chopper scene that just kind of naysay the whole girl scene, and I just call bullshit on that. I got a badass girlfriend that rides motorcycles all over the country, and I'm sorry that you don't. So that being said, we are going to get on with the podcast. And don't forget, like, subscribe, share, comment, and we appreciate it. And again, I'll remind you, if you do subscribe on any of the, I guess, the YouTube and all the things, you can subscribe on Spotify. You can do all the things. You will be entered to win some cool shit. We're going to be picking out subscribers and giving away cool stuff. So thank you guys. And next up, Becky. What in the Duck podcast is proud to be sponsored by Anchor Screen Printing. Anchor Screen Printing has been printing t-shirts and merch products since 1999. Anchor is the place for quality, small run items. At Anchor, every print is hand done by people who care about art. No mass-produced machine-operated printing done here. You can email Anchor at anchorcustoms@gmail.com to talk about getting something printed for your company, brand, or shop. Anchor Screen Printing also has its own online merch store that sells Elm Street Tattoo, Cheap Thrills, Heart in Hand, Party First Safety Maybe merch, and much more. You can check it all out now at anchorscreenprinting.com. All orders at anchorscreenprinting.com over $35 have quick and free shipping in the continental U.S. So go to anchorscreenprinting.com today and buy some cool shit. Or you can click the link provided in this podcast to shop now. Welcome to What in the Duck podcast. I'm your host, Oliver Peck, and today I'm here with Becky from, I guess, from all kinds of things.
Yeah, what am I from? You tell them.
Well, as of late, Axel's Hideout.
Mm-hmm.
That's a thing that's the last couple years. But there's a lot of things that a lot of people may or may not know about you, and you've done quite a few things related to motorcycles over the years.
Yeah.
The first thing that I've learned about recently is that you were one of the founders of the Dream Roll.
Oh yeah. Oh.
And I don't know a lot about it.
Yeah.
So I have questions about it.
Yeah. Hell yeah. So is your podcast mostly about like motorcycle stuff, or it's like kind of whatever?
It's just about whatever.
Yeah, you've been having just.
It depends on who the guest is. If the guest is a tattooer, then it's about tattooing. If the guest is an actor in a movie, it's about the movies. And if it's you, we're gonna find out what it's about.
Hell yeah.
So my question about the Dream Roll, start off. What year did you start?
Oh, fuck. Like 2013 or something like that?
Yeah, been a while.
Yeah, a long time ago. I don't do it anymore. It was an all-women's motorcycle camp out that happened in the Pacific Northwest. And it got so big so fast because there wasn't really lots of stuff like it. And like it blew up, and then COVID happened. And events just suck to put on anymore. So I kind of just fizzled away from that and started doing other shit.
So there was some Honda Dreams involved.
Honda?
Was there no Honda Dreams involved?
Me? The bikes I rode?
No, but in the Dream Roll.
Oh, there was a couple Hondas there for sure.
But not Honda Dreams.
No.
So it wasn't, you know what a Honda Dream is?
No.
Oh man, in the 60s, Honda had a really cool little Art Deco-y scooter that was like called the Honda Dream. It's like a motorcycle, but it had a bunch of body work to it. It was very cool.
I used to ride a Yamaha XT500 there in 1976. That was like my Yamaha dreams.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I had a 71 R5 350, which was a two-stroke 350cc street bike.
Those scary ones.
It was wild. It was cool. It was really fast, up to 65 miles an hour, and then that's about max speed.
Yeah. Okay. So you rode bikes when you were a kid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you're not like new into motorcycles. Like you've been doing this forever.
I started riding mini bikes and dirt bikes and go-karts when I was probably 10 or 11. And I've never not had a motorcycle since then. Okay.
Yeah. You just like driving stuff. Just driving.
That's it.
Yeah.
My favorite thing in the world is motorized vehicles.
Yeah. I feel like that's how every conversation, podcast, interview starts off with me. I'm like, I just like riding things, and it turned into this, and now I'm friends with these people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's been many years that I had, a lot of friends that had motorcycles, and then there was years of periods that went by that I had like one friend with a motorcycle.
Yeah.
People come and go in and out of your life or whatever.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of friends get married and have kids and sell their motorcycles. Mm-hmm. And then seemingly I just never see them again.
Yeah. I hope I'm like entering that phase of life where I'm starting to have like my girlfriends being like, oh, I think I'm going to have a kid and stuff. And I'm just like, oh, fuck, like what's going to happen?
Yeah. I tell I have a friend that'll like get married and have a kid and they'll like want to show me pictures of the kid. And I'm like, I don't want to see the picture of the kid. When you get a picture of a new motorcycle, show me the picture of the new motorcycle. I don't want to see the picture of the kid.
Yeah, dude. No, I'm not a kid person. Wait, do you have kids?
No way. Okay. Not no, but hell no.
No, hell no. I see a baby, I'm like...
I'm way too immature to be in charge of another small child.
You could be a dad.
A terrible dad.
You'd be a good dad.
I say this a lot. I say this a lot, but I come from a long line of bad fathers.
Okay, well...
And I'm nipping it in the bud.
You know how not to be.
You hear all that yelling and screaming?
Oh, yeah, we're in a jail.
We are... Back up to the beginning of this episode. Here we are in Old Idaho State Penitentiary. We're here for the setup day of Party at the Pen, which I'm stoked that you made it out here.
Thanks. Yeah. Thanks for kind of forcing me to come out here.
Very cool. And we're here in the area where we're going to be tattooing. We're in the death row area. So it is kind of echoey. You might hear some people yelling in the background, but people are loading bikes in. People getting ready. This show is going to be really cool.
Yeah. It's both our first times.
And if you're listening to this, Party at the Pen has already happened.
Oh, yes.
So you just flew in just to check out the show.
Yeah.
Give it a whirl.
Yeah, I wanted to come check it out. Just see when it's at a cool venue, it's like way more exciting to go to it. Like another whole reason to be like, hey, yeah, I want to go check that out, you know?
Well, last year we couldn't make it to this and just all the pictures of it made me so jealous. I wanted to be here.
Yeah, we're sitting outside of where they literally hung people.
Yeah, the gallows are right in the other room over here.
When I walked in this building, I was already kind of like, oh, how's this podcast going to go? And then I entered and I just felt this like kind of intense vibe from the being in like a gnarly prison. And I was like, oh, fuck, like, there's a lot of feelings. It's like ghosts or maybe something.
A lot of people died in here.
Yeah, dude, like over 100 people died at this prison.
But not executed.
Not killed.
But not executed, murdered in this row right here.
Oh.
People got thrown over this ledge and people got shanked. And there's a whole display of prison shanks that they confiscated from people.
Oh,
there was a riot here in the 70s, right when they closed the prison down. They burnt down half the prison and it was a lot of crazy shit.
Oh, I'm going to learn tomorrow.
You're going to learn a lot.
Yeah.
So
I love shit like this.
You just got done with Sturgis.
Yeah, I rode a brand new Harley CVO Street Glide to Sturgis by myself because I was like, why not? And we did Axel's Hideout at Sturgis. So it's an all women's custom motorcycle show. We did it at Born Free, Texas. So you've been there.
Been there.
And you saw it at Born Free this year in California. Yeah. So we did it at Sturgis right in the middle of Outlaw Square in Deadwood. And it was pretty sick. Like Harley Davidson sponsors it all, so they make this sweet setup for me. But it was just awesome old dudes coming by being like, this is a girl's bike. Like, you rode this from where? And we're just like, yeah, buddy, like we're going to have to teach you that girls ride now. Like at Born Free, these fucking guys, they see us around. They know that we actually do ride and stuff. But at Sturgis, we had to be like, yeah, like...
Oh, when Audra rides up on a full electric glide bagger, people always want to help her park and act like, how'd you get here and all this, you know?
Yeah. Oh, poor me. Help me, I'm a girl.
I mean, I'm a short guy, and I ride basically the biggest motorcycle that Harley makes, and it's fine.
Yeah, it's all technique and experience.
It rides itself.
Yeah, depends. But yeah, it's totally just experience. Like I think most girls can ride pretty much any bike. Just over time, you have to get some experience to ride like bigger things. But there's nothing stopping you unless you just like have one leg or something. Like, yeah.
Nothing against the one-legged.
But then you ride a trike.
Yeah.
Yeah. One day I'm gonna be on trike. Fuck it. My grandpa's 86 years old. He rode to Born Free 13 when I was a builder, and from Vancouver Island, British Columbia.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah, he's a badass.
So going to Sturgis, setting up in the Outlaw Square. We did a thing in Outlaw Square a couple of years ago.
Oh yeah.
And at Sturgis, it was great. And you get such a vast array of different people that come to Sturgis. Because, people say, well, I don't like Sturgis. I don't like, that crowd. And I'm just like, well, every crowd is at Sturgis. So whatever crowd you want to be in, it is there. It's not like there's only this one Sturgis crowd that you have to avoid or whatever. Yeah. Every kind of person is there.
Totally.
So, I mean, that's what I like about going to Sturgis is like all your friends can be there and all the cool shit to do there.
Yeah. You can do your own thing.
But you set up the girls' motorcycle show. Was it just one day during Sturgis?
Yeah, it was.
So every day at Outlaw Square, it's a different event or whatever.
Yeah.
So do you get, I know you were saying you get a lot of questions from the old men like, oh, girls ride, blah, blah, blah. I also know that you get a lot of hate on the internet.
Yeah.
People talking shit about girls and choppers and girls and riding and blah, 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 blah. Is that, I mean, you've been riding motorcycles a while. Is that just new of the last couple of years? Or has this just been the whole time you've been in the motorcycle scene? It's just kind of...
It's always kind of been like that. Like the day that Instagram started, I was posting that I was riding, so it's not new. Like Instagram kind of changed everything because it became kind of like a job. I got like 10,000 followers in a day, and because Lowbrow and Builtwell like reposted a picture of me riding, and it just kind of like started this whole crazy thing of just people, I don't know, looking at my shit on the internet. Like you started a whole new personality basically. And yeah, people just, I think most of my haters are just dudes online that are bummed that I have nicer bikes than them and do have a cooler life than them. And they're just bummed because they're at home and they're poor and fat. So, and they're watching my shit at home, just being like, damn, this girl, I wish I was doing this, but they can't comprehend why they feel mad. So they just leave a comment that's like, oh, you need to eat more, or you don't know how to kickstart that bike. It's like, okay, go to my page and just scroll down, bro. But
Instagram's a weird thing. I was pretty late. I was pretty late to the internet because I just didn't care. And I was like, the internet, whatever. This thing isn't going to catch on. But, I have a lot of failed prophecies. I thought that a lot of things that would never work have obviously worked great. Yeah. Like I thought New Kids on the Block was going to never have sell out a single show. I thought that, and then of course, every generation there's some new Taylor Swift bullshit that just people flock to, and I'm certain that no one would ever like it, but it's huge.
Yeah. What do you mainly focus on with like content shit now? Are you doing like mostly Instagram? Like you?
I mean, the only social media platform I really use is Instagram, and I mostly just tattoo stuff.
Yeah.
Mostly just, posting tattoo stuff and where I'm going to be tattooing and travel. And
dude, that must be annoying in tattoo world. Like I'm not in that at all, but like I know that some tattooers are really good at Instagram and probably have like tons of followers, but maybe aren't like the best tattooers. But like because they have lots of followers, they probably charge way more. Like, is it like that?
Well, there's this whole, yes. And there's this whole stream of tattooers that made their way onto a tattoo TV show that, that's their whole life.
Right.
The show that I was on, there's a lot of people that came on there and they only made it like 2 episodes.
Right.
They were on 2 episodes of TV their whole life, and their whole internet platform is Inkmaster.
Right.
And everybody's like, oh, they were on Inkmaster. I'm like, yeah, for like 8 minutes. But sometimes that's all you get.
Yeah, it's like being a born free builder.
But if you're good at marketing on the internet, you can definitely get your reach out further.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And, I have with the shop and all the artists that work there, we have a pretty large presence on the internet with the shop and link to all the me and all the other artists. And we have a social media person that manages all that and says, oh, we need to post this day and, keep things flowing or whatever. And most of it I don't really understand. And I just get on there and talk shit and post dumb things. And I get a lot of complaints on the internet. People literally, one of the biggest complaints people say to me on Instagram is like, oh, you're bullshit. All you do is post about partying and having fun. And I'm like, is that bad? Is that a bad
what
thing?
are you supposed to just, they want you to just post tattoos.
I mean, I just post.
For what?
I don't know. I mean, they should. I don't know what. I mean,
no one's ever happy. They just want to be pissed.
Yeah, they do.
They're like, oh, you look happy? Fuck you. Like, they just fucking hate seeing other people happy. It's weird. So weird.
It is weird.
Those are the miserable people.
Misery loves company, they say.
Yeah, they're trying to make you pissed.
That's I believe. You know how people with kids always tell you how great it is to have kids?
Yeah.
That's because they're miserable and they want you to be miserable also.
Yeah, they can't stand it that we figured out that if you don't have kids, you be happy. It's like
me and my best friend were on the cover of this the JP Cycles catalog. And it was like me and Jeff and just our bikes lined up behind us, like a row of like 20 bikes behind us. And then it said like, this is what you get when you don't have kids, quote Oliver Peck. And everybody's like, oh, fuck you. I love my kids. And
I have that and kids.
And I'm like,
always.
Like, oh, I love my kid. I'm like, hey, I'm not saying you can't love your kid. I'm just saying I don't have kids. Now I have all this.
Yeah.
People got mad.
Yeah.
It was funny.
No, people either love it or hate it. And that's just the way of the world, man.
But you have a lot of people that love you.
And I do.
You have a lot of positive followers. Yeah. You have a lot of people that are stoked on what you're doing. You have a lot of people that inspire to, you know, I think that you have inspired a lot of girls to like get out there and do their own thing. Yeah.
Or even just like, honestly, just talk about bikes and like being open about trying to talk about bikes and stuff, you know, because sometimes it's just nerve-wracking to be around it, you know, and just speak up and stuff. And I feel like even though some of the shit I say isn't right or I'm just blabbing on whatever, it's just good to just like fucking get the ball rolling and be like, fuck it, who cares what anybody thinks about us? We can ride sportsters around and be as...
I also think it's funny with some of these, like, you know, when a girl builds a motorcycle and they're like, oh, girl built this motorcycle. And somebody's like, she didn't build everything on that bike. And I'm like, well, I didn't build everything on my bike either.
Yeah, everybody gets help.
Like, I don't do the internal motor work.
Yeah.
I don't.
No.
I don't. I mean, I just, if it's a bolt that I can put through a hole and tighten it on the other side, I do that.
Yeah.
But I don't paint the bike.
No.
I don't chrome the bike. I don't do the chrome. I don't do whatever. You know what I mean? I mostly do tattoos.
Right.
And then decide what I want on my bike and say, oh, I'm going to have this done or whatever. And some people do build a lot of stuff on their bike and some people do a lot of hand fabrication on the bike, but the amount of people that build these bikes that do every single fucking thing, that's a small fraction of people.
Yeah.
Like somebody's doing the upholstery, somebody's doing the paint, somebody's doing the chrome, somebody's doing the motor work, somebody's building their front end or somebody's whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I don't know if people like realize that. I think most people don't know anything, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then when somebody like me is completely honest about how I did everything, because I wanted to be. I didn't want to fake that I was going to do everything. Because I just wanted to call out my friends and be like, this is how it's done. This is how I paid for this shit. People are like, oh, well, you didn't do that. It's like, well, other guys just don't show you that because they don't want you to know that.
Well, I mean, there are a few people that do over, above and beyond what nobody else can do. That, like I said, that's a small...
I'm not talking about them.
Small fraction of people. But the people I do know that build beautiful motorcycles and do have somebody else paint it or somebody else do this, they're not the ones out there talking shit about the other people. They're just stoked on their own bike and stoked on other people's bikes. I feel like not just in this world or not just in motorcycles or not just in talking shit on girls or not just on tattoos, but the majority of the shit talking is from a more minority amount of people.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, well, for sure, because why would you put that stuff out there into the internet footprint if you have a good job, if your boss is also online, if you have a family that cares about you, that's going to see those comments? Like, you don't give a fuck. Like, how do you not understand that like your internet footprint is out there for everyone to see? And nowadays, like in Hollywood, when you get hired for a production company, whatever,
they look at your Instagram.
They look through there's programs they can run now that they can see every fucking comment you've ever left, and they can type in a word, and the comments that you left that have that word on it will just line up like a fucking row.
That's great.
Yeah.
Or terrible. I think it's terrible.
Oh, I mean, just being a decent human.
Yeah. Well, I've adapted. I mean, I try to stay positive most of the time. I do talk a lot of talk a lot of shit, and I do like make fun of things. And
with your homies.
But I'm like,
yeah, everyone talks shit with their homies.
Making fun, I think, is whatever. I think there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
But I do try to keep it positive. And my stance on the internet the last few years has just been like, anything negative, I just delete it.
Oh, yeah?
Negative comments, delete.
Oh, no. I'm like, bring it on, bro. This shit's fucking making my shit go viral.
I just delete. And people start arguing on my feed, and I just delete them and I block them. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't want it. Like, if you're not here to just be positive, then I got no time for it. I get that, bro. But I'm also trying to be like rich as fuck. But then I also go on other people's shit and say negative comments. You wait. So if someone leaves hate on your shit, you'll go delete it, and then you go on their page. No, I just saying if I see something that I don't like on the internet, I will make fun of it. Okay, yeah. Sometimes I'll go on their page and I'll just scroll down to their kid and I'll be like, "Your kid is fucking ugly." And I'm just kidding. I did not do that. Imagine. Oh man, I would like to, but I get fired. Get fired. Yeah, you got to be careful these days. Like you said, they know what you're doing. Mm-hmm. They're watching. Yeah. So you're not coming to Born Free, Texas? No, this is my first year not going, though. I've been every year. I love it. Well, you're missing out because it's going to be the best year of Born Free, Texas. Yeah. Why? I mean, it's the third year, which means we're ironing out. The first year was okay. Mm-hmm. The first year was good. We ironed out a bunch of, well, not just we. I say we, they, and mostly this one, Audra, ironed out a bunch of problems, and next year was better. Mm-hmm. Second year was awesome. Yeah. Third year, everything is really dialed in and coming together, and it's going to be killer. Sweet. Oh, yeah. So maybe you might have to figure it out. Yeah. Dude, last year I rented a RV through an RV share company. Oh, yeah. And they just came and set it up. And I just showed up in the night. I think I saw you. And I just went right in there and had a kitchen, bathroom, shower. Everything was set up, and it was just amazing. Yeah, that's one of the things where a lot of people do at Born Free is get the RV share. Yeah. There's a couple different companies that do it, and it's awesome. We've done it. It's great. Yeah. We went in the RV share one time, and it was a trailer we towed ourselves, and I crashed it. That was great. Oh, you were trailering it? Well, it was an RV trailer. Okay. And we rented it to take somewhere. So we actually, instead of them popping it up, we went and picked it up and trailered it somewhere. And then, of course, I would not let you do that. Of course, I crashed it. Audra was freaking out. Oh, yeah. Did they charge you? Yeah. Yeah. Not as much as I thought it was going to be, though. That's crazy. It wasn't crashed that bad. It was minor damage. Yeah. I don't think I'd want to do that. I mean, we have our own RV, which I've also crashed multiple times. Yeah, that would happen. Rough. I'm rough on equipment, they say. I don't know how people carry that shit across the country and shit. Like when I was just riding a Sturgis, everyone's rigs. Oh yeah. Like it's insane. A lot. Like, I'd be hitting holes. Oh man. It also sucks because like I'm on a motorcycle and they're just taking up the whole road, you know, like I can't even pass them and I'm the one who's riding, should be having fun. Yeah. And they're going to the same place as me, but they're not fucking riding. And I'm like behind their gas smoke smog with like 5 bikes in their trailer just banging around just like fucking pussies. Sometimes you got a trailer though. No, yeah, I get it. Yeah. I mean, we rode to Sturgis one year and then we trailered to Sturgis. Well, wait, no, we had someone else drive our RV with trailer and we rode and met them there. Whoa. That was the sweet move. That's a good one. That was the sweet move. Yeah, that's a good one. But sometimes you got to take, you know, if we're going to event or merch stuff, you got to take. Yeah, no, of course, bro. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about like, you know, just these dudes, like the Sturgis bros. But now those people, they could RV share and their RV could just already be there set up and then they could ride there. Yeah. It wasn't even that expensive. It was just maybe a bit more than a hotel would be, you know? Yeah, it's not bad. No, not at all. It's crazy. Like, this guy's just going to let me have his RV for, it's like, okay. It's probably cameras, huh? Something weird's going on. They got you doing some shit in there. Probably. I ate a whole Walmart charcuterie board in there.
I did not feel good the next day. That's like the main thing I can remember from Born Free, Texas. Fucked myself
It's
up.
the Walmart charcuterie board.
Yeah. There wasn't much around there to eat.
There's a Walmart. That's about.
Yeah.
There's a Subway.
I eat there
There's
too.
a Domino's. There's a Walmart. There's a Lowe's and a Home Depot.
It's cool that it's in the middle of the nowhere, though. Like, that's how Dream Roll kind of was. It was like, hey, this is an event you come to not to do a fashion show. Like, this is an event you come to if you fucking ride. Like, you have to ride here. You have to, like, find it, you know? It's not by a big major city. You know, like, you got to be a motorcyclist, and then you got to fucking camp. You have to bring everything on your bike. Like, that, I kind of like that, you know?
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And a lot of people do that at Born Free, and a lot of people don't. A lot of people bring trailers and RVs and whatnot. Mm-hmm. As long as you're having fun, that's all that matters.
Yeah, just being out there, like even in a camper and shit, it's like it's different. And then, like Born Free California, we're all just like partying at a $500 a night pool, like bikers.
So the new bike that you rode to Sturgis this year was a Road Glide?
It was a CVO Road Glide, yeah. But I just Harley Davidson lent it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was fun.
Yeah, it was super fun.
Do you like the stationary fairing versus?
Dude, I think so. Like, I don't really know the difference. Well, I know the difference, but I haven't really ridden the other one. Like, which one do you like?
I ran an Electric Glide, which has the Batwing fairing that's mounted to the handlebars. So the fairing turns with the handlebars.
Like,
and then the Road Glide, the fairing stays still and the handlebars are just inside there.
Yeah, you don't like that?
I like the station. The Road Glide I don't like as much.
Yeah. I always choose it because I think it looks better and I feel like it's smaller.
I don't know if it's actually smaller, but I feel like the Electric Glide fairing looks more vintage. It looks more like my 70s bikes because it's basically the exact same look.
Yeah. I do tend to like a more girly look. Not saying that the Road Glide is like a girly bike, but I think it looks more like, I don't know, like.
Oh man, all these tough dudes with Road Glides have the girly bike now. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Any bike that a girl rides is a girl bike.
There you go.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Yeah.
But you borrowed the bike, rode to Sturgis. Mm-hmm. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was so chill because like I'm used to riding hardtail bikes that are pieces of shit, that don't have a front brake, that I'm just concerned about the whole time. And then I'm like exhausted at the end of the day. And the next morning I'm like, got a wrench on something or like worry about gas or whatever. This Road Glide went like 325 miles without needing gas. Like my bikes, I can do like 70 miles.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, I'm going to go through Wyoming without touching the ground with my feet.
It's crazy. And it's not exhausting because you're not holding the handlebars and you're not gripping the throttle and you can just put your feet in different positions and you can just relax.
You don't shake.
Yeah.
Yeah. That shaking, like that vibration, I feel like you don't notice it fucks you up till like the next day when your hands are swollen and shit. Like I was just like, I could ride to Sturgis in one day. That's how I felt. I gave myself 5 days. I was like, damn, I what am I going to do?
In the 90s, I rode coast to coast, Florida to California on a Triumph Bonneville.
Oh.
And it was like, that was like one of the hardest jobs I ever had.
Yeah.
You know, like 500 miles a day.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? It's like, that's going to work. And you get every gas stop, you're just like, oh God, you know, and then nowadays I can ride on my brand new bike 1,000 miles and be chill. Yeah. And not even be tired when I get there and not even be stressed out. And it's like so amazing. Yeah. Like I can ride 250, 300 miles or, you know, we usually stop 100, 150 miles to get gas. Yeah. And you might need a pee or whatever. Yeah. But I can do that and literally just fill the tank up and then do another 150 miles. Yeah. And not even need to stretch or not feel tired.
Do you like riding by yourself?
I love riding by myself.
Yeah.
I also love riding with one other person or 2 or 3 other people. Love that a lot. I mean, I think riding with a bigger group, you know, 10 or more people can be fun, but it adds a lot more to
everything.
The experience. And not always positive.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite runs I did a few years ago, I did the Lola run. It's here with Luke. And it was about 15 dudes all on Kickstart bikes. And it was great. Most amazing, like 2 weeks. But the one thing, every time you stop and got gas, which was every 60 to 80 miles, because everybody's on small tank bikes, you have to 15 people have to get their bike started. And at least one person is going to take longer than everybody else to get their bike started. So you're either the guy kicking 20 times while everybody's waiting on you, or you're the guy that your bike's already running and you're waiting on the dude to kick his bike 100 times to get started. Right. So about half and half. Half the time my bike would start up real quick and I would just sit there and drive in a circle around the parking lot. Because I can't just sit still with a bike running. So I'm just riding in a big circle, sometimes for 5 more minutes until everybody's bike started. And then other times I would just be, Yeah. It was a lot of work. It was fun. And like I said, it was one of the best trips ever. But if you're 3 people, you wouldn't have that. That issue. And
3 is a good number.
Every gas stop is over an hour. Because you got 15 people that are all taking turns doing whatever. And then the last minute, somebody's like, oh, well, I'm going to, whatever.
Boys.
Yeah, it was great. But you can't make it 500 miles in a day with that scenario.
No, definitely not. No. I do every year twice. Me and my 2 girlfriends do a chopper trip. We've been doing it for 5 years, and we don't make it very far, but we sleep on the ground, and we are dialed. We know exactly that Melissa's tank can only go 5 miles less than us, and how long each of us take at the gas station, what each of us want at the gas station, And we're always should we invite this person this year? And then the girls are like, well, but we already have our dynamic, we know exactly just everything about each other and where each other would sleep in a hotel room. All these things really do matter on motorcycle trips. It's it's kind of a sacred thing that you don't really talk about,
Yeah. I mean, if everybody's on new bikes, totally different story. Totally different story.
Then I'm just pissed at who's bad at riding. That was my first thing I noticed at Sturgis. I was like, damn, these fucking guys are bad at riding. These guys have never ridden motorcycles in their lives.
Well, there's a lot of people there that don't ride very much.
Yeah. They put on their biker kit for the 1 week a year and are like, I'm the fucking man.
Yeah. They don't ride a whole lot. And I try not to hate too much on those people because those people are trying to.
Do you know how much they hate on me, bro?
Yeah, but those people are trying to live a little bit of the dream that we live all the time.
You're right about that.
Yeah. But it is pretty funny to see. You can tell.
Yeah.
That one glance at a group and you can tell the whole story.
My friends rode their old bikes in, and they were at a gas station, and some tweaker guy came up to them and said to them, hey, you guys be careful out there. 8 people died already. And they were just like, damn, what? But shit happens at Sturgis that you don't hear about. They want to keep that shit under wraps.
We were rolling into Deadwood in that windy road that rides down into. There's always a bunch of crashes there. And we saw some people that are just not making it in the turns or just only jam their front brake in the turn and then almost crash. And we're just that guy's not going to live through the weekend.
Yeah.
And then literally the next hour we heard that somebody crashed and died right there. And I'm just I bet it was that guy we saw. I bet it was that guy.
Dude, and it's, on those big bikes that everyone's riding, that's hard conditions to ride in there. Even if you're an experienced rider, with all the people around, knowing how to ride in a group, super windy roads, Needles Highway isn't a very experienced, you shouldn't just go ride that road no matter what. And then everyone's right by each other, stopping and going. I can't even imagine what happens out there.
Oh, people die. That's what happens.
Yeah, people be dying.
I definitely have heard that they try to squash everybody finding out how many people crash and die.
Or other shit, dude. Think of Buffalo. I shouldn't talk bad about the event, but think of how dangerous it feels to be a woman in all this campground where there's just all these dudes that are being a biker for a week, you know? It
like
feels scary.
You look down that dark road and you're like, ooh, Rape Alley over there.
Rape Alley. I went there by myself on the Kid Rock night, and I was like, I can't park super close to the stage. And I just parked my bike, and I was like, damn, I wish I like had a weapon right now. I didn't.
You made it.
I did. Yeah. And I just try to look like a boy. Like I try to look as ugly as possible on trips. I'm always just like, I'm a boy. Don't look at me.
You're not out there trying to pick up a biker man at Sturgis.
Oh my God. No.
But you can definitely tell there are a lot of people out there that are trying.
Who, girls? Girls? Are you talking about like girls trying?
Yeah, oh yeah. And
is there girls there?
I've seen not the ones I want to pick up on. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, there's everything, man. Yeah, you could do whatever you want there.
We had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun. We went, so 2020.
Oh, you went in 2020?
2020, when 2020 happened, and we were not planning on going to Sturgis.
Oh.
Even prior to 2020 happening, there was just, we weren't planning at all. And then the pandemic started, and then, the world was going crazy. And then they announced that Sturgis was going to be canceled.
Yeah.
And then within a few hours, people were like going crazy, saying, fuck you, we're coming anyway.
Right.
And so 8 hours after they announced that it was canceled, the mayor of the town came on, did a press conference and said, okay, we're still gonna, I guess it's still gonna happen because people are still coming. Because everybody had rented the hotel, had called their hotel and said, you can't cancel our room, we're gonna be there. And everybody that had rented the Airbnb house said, we're gonna be there. And everybody had a plane ticket, said, we're going. And all these people within 100,000 people within a few hours were like, we're coming. So the mayor came on and said, okay, it's still gonna happen. We, that day at the tattoo shop, watching all that happen on social media, we were like, we're going. This is the year this is the year to go. This is going to be the most exciting year because I was like, first of all the people from international are not going to come.
Right.
Because the flights are shut down.
Yeah.
All the weekend warrior doctor people that load up in their RVs and drive out there, they're not going to go. Mm-hmm. So the only people that are going to go are the crazy fucks.
True.
That are going to hop on their bikes and ride anyway. I'm like, this is the year to go. And it was a less attended year, obviously, because it was 2020, but it was awesome.
Did you get COVID?
I mean, I don't know.
Well, then it probably doesn't matter if you don't even remember.
I mean, I don't know if I got it. I never got a test.
Did you ever get COVID? Like, you don't even know?
I don't know.
I don't think I ever got it.
I assume everyone got it. And it just what effect it had on you is different for everybody. Some people felt sick. Some people didn't feel sick. Some people lost their sense of smell. Some people got diarrhea. Some people died. Yeah. Some people did this. Some people did that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was like, I think I felt under the weather a few times. Never got a test.
Yeah.
I refused to get a test. I was like, I'm not fucking getting a test. You know how to make sure you don't have it? Don't get a test. But we're in Sturgis. It's 2020, and on the news it's like super spreader event.
Oh yeah.
And we were like, super spreader. It was the best.
Yeah, that was such a weird time because it was like, should we not be doing that? Like, do we hate the people that are doing that? Like, what do we feel? Like, I was just like, the freeways were empty in LA. So I was like, how many lanes is there? I would just go ride every day. I went and did a loop around Utah by myself. There's just...
Oh, we rode everywhere.
Did you?
We rode all over the country. So every event was canceled. All tattoo conventions that I've been doing for decades all over the world were all canceled. The only events that weren't canceled, motorcycle swap meets. Yeah. And so went to motorcycle swap meets, got loaded the truck, went to motorcycle swap meets, and got on a motorcycle. We rode all over the country. We rode, I did like 31 states that year. Damn. It was great. And a lot of the places, it was like nothing was happening. Yeah. And then I had a couple of days I couldn't really get food. Like on my trip. Like you were in some town that was... Yeah, super small towns. And like I couldn't really find like normal food to eat, like because all the restaurants were shut down. Or like through the natives reserves and stuff, they were like, we don't fucking want you guys here. Mexico was crazy.
Yeah.
New Mexico, the whole state was wild.
Yeah.
Like barely let you get gas kind of shit.
Yeah. That was the vibe in some spots I was at. And I'd just be like, oh, I got to pass through. But like, I got to fucking eat something, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That was interesting times.
What in the Duck podcast is proud to be sponsored by Legacy Ink, the finest in tattoo pigments. I have been using this ink exclusively for over 20 years myself. It has been recently rebranded and marketed, but it has been the same recipe for decades. Real, hand-mixed tattoo pigments that heal great and last. People always comment on the yellow that I use and the yellow tattooed on me. My favorite, the Mayan yellow. I have seen countless 20-plus-year-old tattoos with the colors still vivid. Don't fuck around with all these newfangled companies with their watered-down baloney. Get the tried, true, and tested good shit. You can find them on Instagram at Legacy Pigments or email Ashley today to place an order at legacyartsupplies@gmail.com. Tell them Oliver sent you and receive a special discount. Don't just do tattoos. Be a part of a legacy. I loved it. Dallas, it was great. Like it kind of spoiled me because I didn't stop at red lights for months. I didn't fucking speed limit for months. And so now it's like, it's hard for me to stop it.
Yeah, and there wasn't traffic.
It's hard for me to stop at stop signs and red lights anymore because I'm just so used to just.
Yeah, fucking it. Lawless down here. I'm from Canada and it's like no fun country. Like they don't allow you to do anything up there. And during COVID, it was
except
very
drugs.
bad. Yeah, no, they give you a needle. If you want to do drugs, you can go get injected.
And if you want to kill yourself, they help you out.
I had never lived there when that was a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been hearing that's a thing now up there, which is, I don't even want to talk about that. That's just weird.
So weird.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
I'm not, I guess I can't really say I'm against it because I believe in freedom of choice. I believe you should be able to do what you want to do with your own body. So if you want to kill yourself, sure.
Yeah, but I don't want like my old granny being like, oh, am I a burden on my family? Oh, I'll just die. Like that shouldn't be an option for anyone. That's my only like kind of like, oh, damn, that's kind of sad.
But if she wants to do it, what are you going to do?
I guess she can do it if she wants.
So when my grandmother was getting old and this is my mom's mother, I was like super close with my mom and my grandmother. Like she was like probably the closest person in my life to me growing up. Mm-hmm. And she was getting pretty old. And I was like the one. Like my mom and my aunt and my cousins would talk to me about like, oh, you got to talk to grandma. They would want me because I had this close relationship with her. So when she got old and she started like getting sketchy on driving and then she kept crashing the car into the driveway, getting in and whatever. And so my mom wanted to take her car keys away from her. And she's like, Oliver, you need to go and you need to get grandma's keys from her. And I was like, what? No way. I was like, it's her car. If she wants to drive it off a cliff, it's her life.
What if she kills someone?
That's not for me to stop her doing.
Right.
Like, in my mind, I was in my 20s, and I was just like, if someone came to me,
oh hell no,
and said, "We're taking your motorcycle away from you," I'm gonna say, like, "Fucking hell, you are!" But you're gonna kill yourself on it. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
you're not stopping me from doing this.
Yeah.
So how now? I'm gonna go to this woman who's like the greatest person in my life and take shit away from her after all she's given me? I'm like, no way, dude. It's her car.
Yeah. No,
if she wants to drive it, she can drive it.
Dude, my grandpa, when he was 84, hit a deer with his Honda Goldwing that he converted into a trike. And the next day he just went and got a Can-Am Spider. And was like, didn't need that anymore, I guess.
Take this, deer.
Yeah. Now he rides a Can-Am Spider, and I'm just like, I fucking back that, dude. That'll be me one day. When I was a Born Free builder that one year, I had him come pick me up from my house and drive me to Born Free on the back of it. I was like, this is cool, boys. Let me show you.
I would say there are exceptions to every rule. And one rule is those things suck, but there is an exception to that rule.
Yes,
the exception is you're fucking 90 fucking years old and you still want to get out and do shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's options.
But I see some of these people driving around in those like 3-wheel car things.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just like,
like a slingshot.
yeah.
Yeah, my dude picked me up on Valentine's Day in one once. He like rented it for the day. I was like, fuck yeah, let's fucking go.
I don't know. I don't understand those things. I don't know why they don't just have 4 wheels.
Right. You have to you're technically, I mean, you live in a no helmet state, but like you have to wear a helmet with them. But
I don't understand, what is the benefit of having that 1 wheel in the back?
Dude, I don't know. Because feeling cool.
It doesn't handle better with the 3 wheels. If it had 4 wheels, it would handle better.
Oh, yeah. I think, yeah.
So what is the benefit of having...
They just want to be dope, dude.
Dope?
They just want to be dope. Like dudes in Miami just want to drive them around with their LED lights on and be like, look at me. Just look. I want you to look at me. And that's cool. That's dope. Like,
and a girl can stand on the hood and twerk, because that's what they do in Deep Ellum with the lights flashing and the bass booming.
Yeah, I would stop and watch.
You can't do that on a chopper.
You could.
No, you can't have big fat girls standing on top of the bike twerking. Good luck.
Never say never.
Good luck trying. But you can get them on that slingshot for sure.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I don't know if some girls like choppers, but like not all. Like the girls we're talking about. Like the ones that like, you know, I don't know if girls are like, damn, look at that dude on that old panhead. No, they don't. They're just like, oh, biker dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the most part.
So what you're saying is the chopper's not helping people get chicks, is what you're saying.
I mean, whether you spend like $5,000 or like 80, I don't know if the girls really give a fuck.
Yeah.
I think the dudes are mostly trying to like impress each other, like just saying.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I am.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I like cool shit.
Yeah. I mean, I'm impressed, but I still don't really know what I'm looking at half the time.
I think the problem is you just get on this, you just get hooked on some rabbit hole, and like you're building up, you get a bike and you're like, oh, well, I want to do this to it. And I want to do, and then it's just like every little, and I just get crazy on every little thing.
Yeah. And like, you learn and you want to do better. And
but this last, I don't know, I guess 5, 6+ years or whatever, I don't do that much chopper shit. Mostly I have antique bikes that I'm putting back to original. I'm more in the antique motorcycle side of things. So now, like, I ride an antique motorcycle, and if it has the wrong tiniest little piece on it that's not actually 1971, it just drives me fucking crazy. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. But I want this battery hold down clamp to be the actual stock, you know, so it's like you go through and try to fix, and it is way more obsessive and insane than building a chopper.
Oh, for sure.
Because you get an old 50s, 60s, 70s motorcycle, and then you can just go crazy trying to make everything correct.
Yeah.
It's way worse of a sickness.
Yeah. It's cool though. It's fucking cool. It's like one of the coolest hobbies ever, you know? It's better than what half the people are doing nowadays, like just playing Grand Theft Auto or whatever.
It's definitely not. In the end, it is definitely not financially viable though.
Yeah.
It's not like this. You have this motorcycle that's worth X amount of dollars, and then you spend countless time driving around the country going to swap meets, finding these little parts and paying tons of money to get this little part on there. The motorcycle's still worth the same. You didn't increase the value of the...
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. What, like with bike riders, do you think that this is going to make the price of the bikes go up?
The Bike Riders movie?
Yeah.
I was hoping that it was going to raise the value of my bikes that were in the movie.
Yeah. What do you think?
So far, I haven't sold anything. I haven't attempted to sell anything.
Yeah. Has anyone reached out to you?
I've had a couple people ask me about,
like, would you sell?
I would definitely, so many people have asked me, and I've definitely entertained the idea of selling at least one or more of the bikes that were in there.
Yeah, yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't really see a rush of people going to try to run out and buy panheads because that movie came out.
I mean, I don't even know if they know, what they're looking at.
But I know that Harley Davidson in general, like corporate, was hoping that the movie was going to inspire more people to buy Harley Davidson motorcycles.
Yeah.
And new motorcycle buyers to steer towards Harley instead of steering towards whatever other brand.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, most of the bikes in the movie are Harleys.
Yeah.
A few Triumphs, a few BMWs, a few other bikes, but 90-something% of the bikes are all Harleys in the movie.
Yeah. I mean, that I could see that. Like, I can see that more so, like Harley, people wanting to buy a Harley because of that movie, being like, this is cool. This lifestyle is cool, but maybe not necessarily being like, I need that exact bike or like that panhead. Like, I don't know. People don't watch that movie the same way that we watch that movie. Like, I just thought hearing those bikes in the theater around all these.
So cool.
I was just like, damn, this is like weird. Like,
I mean, I was heavily invested in the movie from its conception before it even started filming. And I was, I had a lot of high hopes for it. And I really think it came out good.
Yeah, me too.
I think it came out great. I think they did a good job. And I think that the people that naysay it were expecting it to only be this chopper culture thing, which it's not. It's just a story about people that had motorcycles.
Yeah.
And if you love the book and you look at the book and you read the interviews in the book and you watch the movie, it's a really good interpretation of that book. I mean, there's shots in the movie that look exactly like the photos in the book.
No, I appreciated it a lot. I thought it was cool. Like, what? Like, of course, we want to see a movie like this. Like, what else? This is a great movie compared to what else are they going to make? Like some bullshit fucking superhero movie? Like, yeah, we want to watch good movies. Like, make more. There used to be so many motorcycle movies.
Yeah, in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
Maybe I will say this. I know from my experience of being on the movie that the people involved with this movie will probably never make another movie with antique motorcycles in it again because of how much trouble it is to keep antique motorcycles running, and they're not reliable, and you can't like just say action and 60 panheads all start and go down the road. God. Like we were just talking about earlier, getting gas with 15 people. Imagine needing to shoot a shot and you've got on film the camera. Once the camera starts running, you got 3 minutes of film before you have to change the cartridge, and you have to have 60 panheads
in the freezing cold.
In the freezing cold in Cincinnati. I mean, when I say freezing cold, I'm talking 17 degrees.
Yeah.
We did a night shoot where we shot for 8 hours from 10 p.m. till 6 a.m. It was 17 degrees, and we had to like keep starting these bikes and do like 20 takes of running this.
I feel like when I watched it, I could tell that everyone was wearing jackets and stuff, but it definitely didn't correlate how cold.
Oh no, it wasn't even supposed to be cold in the movie. So they were like, I've said this so many times, but I say now I'm an actual actor, because in this scene, I was freezing to death, but I was acting like I wasn't cold.
Yeah.
So that's my acting ability, to act not cold when it really is cold.
When I lived in Vancouver, I worked on a lot of movie sets.
Yeah.
I worked on that show Riverdale. Have you ever heard?
I've seen some episodes of that.
I was not expecting you to know what that was.
I've seen it. I've seen some of it.
Okay, yeah. Well, it's filmed in like cold Vancouver, like rain. And they liked it even more when it was raining and cold. It was like eerie, but I was a Southside Serpent. So I was like a high school biker gang, and they'd like put neck tatties on me and stuff. But yeah, it would be freezing. And we would do some days that were not, they were like 15 hours.
Oh yeah.
And you would start at like 7 p.m.
It's pretty much every day's 15-hour day.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gnarly. Movie stuff is crazy.
That was pretty much the same thing on our TV show. Everything was a 12, 15-hour day.
Okay, so but was it always kind of the same? Like you knew what to expect?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it was all inside a set, and it was all planned out, and it was all every.
Yeah. How many episodes did you film of that show?
We did 13 seasons over the course of 10 years, and there was 16. Most seasons had 16 episodes. So we did almost 200 episodes, I think.
Damn.
3 days per episode.
That's a pretty sweet gig.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was great. I can make things fun, and I made it fun, and I had a lot of fun, but it was also rough.
Yeah.
Being in Newark, New Jersey for 9 weeks in a row.
And you didn't live there?
We did live there.
Okay.
No, I mean, I stayed there.
Okay. But you didn't live there?
No, I lived in
Okay.
Texas.
Oh, you never? Okay, gotcha.
So I went we'd film a season for 9. It took 9 weeks to film a season. So I was stuck in Newark for 9 weeks.
Okay.
And it's miserable.
Oh, did you like that job though? Like, did you like going to work?
I did. Like I said, I had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah.
But what I'll also say is there was never a day that I was there that I didn't wish I was somewhere else.
That's sad.
Yeah. Like when I go to London and go to a tattoo convention, I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm not wishing I was somewhere else.
Right. No.
Like I'm doing what I want to do. When I'm on a motorcycle tour and I'm
Yeah.
riding my motorcycle, I'm not wishing I was somewhere else.
Yeah.
I was on set on Vinkmaster doing my job, having fun, but wishing.
I mean, you
I was
also did
somewhere
it for
else.
like a long time. Anything for that amount of
Oh.
time, I feel like you start just getting bored of. And like people who are creative, like you and I, like you always want to be doing new stuff. So maybe you were just starting to get like,
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things that I travel a lot. I do a lot of events, like I said, tattoo events. And there's like tattoo events that I do every year. Like I do a tattoo convention here or there, whatever. But when I was filming, I had to miss it. So it's like every weekend there's some event somewhere
Yeah.
that now I can't go to because I'm filming the show.
yeah,
So it's like every year when they announce, like, we'd 6 months ahead of time, they would come up and be like, they're doing the schedule. We're going to film this time. And as soon as they announced the schedule, I was like, well, fuck, I'm missing this. I'm missing this. I'm missing this.
yeah. Yeah, that's like, yeah, fucking showbiz, bro.
Showbiz.
Did you make a lot of money?
I made a lot of money.
Like how much?
I don't know. I spent it all.
Do you invest your money?
I invested all my money in Harley Davidsons, antique Harley Davidsons.
But you like own your house and stuff?
I mean, I have a house that I'm not paid off on.
Well, yeah. Okay. But you bought
probably should have paid the house off.
it. Okay.
That would have been smart.
Do you have like interest accounts, like savings accounts and like,
No,
oh,
I have about 50 Harley Davidson motorcycles.
that's the best investment though. Like it really is. Like over time, it kind of is like, dude, I'm even holding on. I have an Evo Sporty chopper that's just so cute. And every day that sits there, because I have 10 bikes, like I don't have space for all of them. I'm like, that thing's just going to be worth more. They don't look like that anymore.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just an Evo Sportster, you know? Yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah, I got a bunch of antique motorcycles and a bunch of parts, a whole warehouse full of parts and tubs and stuff. So
Okay. It's only going up in worth.
Fingers crossed.
Well, yeah. Well, why not? It hasn't ever not.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's only getting older.
It's only worth money when you sell it.
Yeah. Are we going to get kicked out of here?
I think we're going to have to wrap it up soon.
So do they rent this venue for the weekend, but have rules, obviously?
Today they have the venue. They rented the venue an extra day today for setup because usually they just all set up early Saturday morning.
Shit.
So this is a better plan, obviously. But they did rent it today, but I think they have it till 5.
Oh yeah.
And it's 5:10 now. So we got a few minutes.
Yeah. I wonder.
Man, that was an hour in like no time. I don't even know if we even talked about what we're supposed to talk about.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes. I went on the Wee Man's podcast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he's with another little guy. There's 2 of them. And they sit on either side of you, and they just ask you. I was like nervous because I didn't really know him very well, and like he rides.
He's a funny guy.
Yeah, but like he rides a motorcycle that Roland Sands built, which is like the same shop that I'm in, right? So I was kind of around for that. But other than that, like we hadn't really hung out. But like I wasn't nervous for this because we can talk about kind of anything. We have similar, you know the scene and what I've done and what I could say one thing and you'd be like, okay, I get it. But with them, I was like, fuck, what are we going to fucking talk about? Like, are they going to razz me? And like, lots of people watch this shit. Like this guy's like famous as fuck. And then like he kept saying like funny shit to me. Like, have you ever been with a midgie?
A midget.
And I was just like, shut the fuck up, dude. Like,
so basically it was propositioning you.
I don't know. I think they're just trying to make me like say something funny or uncomfortable or something, but I'm just like, ugh.
So you have or have not had sexual intercourse with a midget before?
I didn't. I said.
You declined to answer.
I said, "What do you mean by a midgie?" Because like, I was like, "What's that word mean?" Yeah, and then this is the same thing that kind of happened. But yeah, I was super nervous for that. I was super nervous. I went on a ride with Norman Reedus in Uruguay.
Oh yeah.
And it was like a long time ago. We filmed it in 2018, I think. And I was like straight up homeless at the time. I was living in my van because I was moving from one country to another and didn't have a social security number yet. So I couldn't rent an apartment. So I was living in a van. And I get this text message or a DM on Instagram. And it was like, Norman follows you on Instagram and wants you to be on his show on Tuesday. And it was like Friday or something like that. And I was just like,
he's great.
I was like, I listened to your guys' episode. That's why I was like, going to mention it. Because I was like, has Oliver been on this show yet?
I think that the episode that I did with him was the same season.
As what?
As the season you were on.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Season 4?
Was that? I think so.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. He came to Dallas.
Where'd you guys go?
He came to Dallas.
Okay.
And we rode around Dallas and he came to my house.
Okay.
And we did like a little tour of my house and then we got on some of my bikes and rode around.
But I didn't really know you then. Oh, are you getting kicked out?
Did you hear something? Oh, maybe that was a ghost.
Ooh. Yeah, they said, do you want to go to Uruguay?
Fuck yeah, you do.
I was like, where is that? Is that in Africa? Like, where the fuck is that? They're like, South America. I was like, I don't even care. They're like, we have a car service that's going to pick you up. I'm like, from my van?
Sweet.
Yeah, I was sick.
And so that's how you met him.
I had never met him in real life before, no.
Oh, man.
We had followed each other on Instagram,
Yeah.
but like I never really watched his shows or anything like that. My little sister just texted me one day and was like, yo, Norman Reedus follows you on Instagram. And it's just cool, like listening to your guys' podcast. I just think it's so cool. He like, really just likes to ride. And like, I think he could see that in my social media. Cause at the time I only had like 30,000 followers. It wasn't like I was, now I'm more well-known. So I was just, that's so rad that you chose me to be on the show with you and like take me here and have this experience with you because you like know that I appreciate this and like we're gonna ride together,
I think he does a great job of just doing that exact thing.
Yeah.
Getting people that really love to ride.
Yeah.
He's had a few, he talks about having people on there that he thinks ride and then finds out that they don't really ride.
Yeah.
I love that part of the story,
that.
But most of the people he gets really love to ride motorcycles.
Yeah.
And it was great.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, he's the one who's picking them and finding them and like doing all, like that's cool. That's like, if I ever get famous, that's what I'm going to do.
He really only does that show just for his own fun.
Yeah, right?
Like it doesn't, I don't think that show really makes a lot of money for the budget, but whatever, AMC literally just lets him do it because he's on Walking Dead. You know, because how much revenue Walking Dead makes, they're like, okay, we'll let you do this.
Right.
And it's just fucking cool.
Dude, people are cult followers of him and that show. Like people were sleeping outside our hotel.
Oh yeah.
Like on the cement. And we couldn't even go out in public and shit without them like screaming. And they knew where we were. They were like following us throughout the country. Like it was crazy.
Oh, I've met him in New York a few times just to meet up and just have, talk or have a drink or get something to eat. And he's always like got to like sneak in someplace and just like pop in. And he'll just like literally just like pop in and sit in the booth all quiet. And then like people find out he's there. It's like, it's over.
Yeah. It's not like that with every celebrity, like he's got the people are like crazy about him. You know what I'm saying?
When he came to Dallas, we walked around the neighborhood real quick, like before the cameras were rolling. And we walking down the sidewalk. It was the middle of the day in Deep Ellum. I don't know if you've ever been to Deep Ellum or not. It's just a neighborhood where my tattoo shop is.
Okay.
It's just like a little hip little bar strip area. But in the daytime, it's not much going on. So we walk across the street and this black lady drives by and she like whiplashes and slams on the brakes, jumps out of her car in the middle of the street, leaves her car in the middle of the street with their door open and goes, Norman, I love you. And he's like, I love you too. And she just runs and she's like, can I give you a hug? And he's like, yeah. And he just grabs this lady and hugs her and like kisses her. And she just like, and runs and like goes to get back in her car. And she's like, her mind is blown. And Norman's just like, ha ha ha. I was like, dude, insane.
Insane. People get weird, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like she was ready to just leave that car forever.
Yeah.
Like, because we started walking and she's just walking. And I was like,
I don't get that.
Your car's over there. She's like, oh shit, my car. And the people were like behind her, move this car. And it was.
Do you have anyone you would fan out over?
I fanned out over Steve Buscemi.
Okay.
I met Steve Buscemi and I was like,
okay.
And that was pretty cool. I've met a handful of famous people in my life, and like, it's always just like cool, like whatever. Hey, what's up? Nice to meet you. I know we're not going to be,
Yeah.
It's superficial. You just say hi, and they're never going to remember you or whatever. And that's kind of how I met Norman, and then we ended up just being friends.
Yeah.
But when I was at this place. Quick story. I was at this place. Steve Buscemi was there. I was like, oh my gosh, Steve Buscemi. And they're like, the lady that was with me was a network person from the show. I was on a show, like, would you like to meet Steve Buscemi? And I was like, yeah. And then we get over there and she's like, oh, Mr. Buscemi, this is Audra Peck. And I literally was just like, brother. Like, I don't even know what I said. Just like, hi,
Yeah.
Like you try to, you think you're going to just say, you think you're just going to be cool. You're going to be like, hey, what's up, man? Great to meet you. And you're just like, brr, I'm Oliver,
Yeah, your heart you kind of freak out a little bit. Were you there when Brad Pitt was at Born Free?
I was.
Dude, I was like, I'm never going to fucking ever see this man again in my life. Like, we're never going to be friends. I'm never going to see him and become homies. I'm shooting my shot. Like, I just went right up to him. I'm like, I got to get a picture with you. And I have that picture, and I'm just so glad I have that picture. Like, I don't have, dude, actually, do we have like a minute for one story?
Yeah.
Have you seen my motorcycle in Vogue magazine with Beyonce on it?
No. I haven't seen Vogue magazine.
Well, it was, you would only see it.
I'm going to see it now.
Yeah, you'll only see it through my like Instagram or whatever.
I'll see it. Dude, maybe then. Okay.
This dude DM'd me on Instagram and he was like, yeah, we're looking for a motorcycle like yours for an article in Vogue magazine. And I was just like, okay, cool. Like, let me know rates. And then he called me in the next 3 days and I was like, he mentioned the cover and I was like, what do you like think this is for, And I like thought really hard before the shoot, just like who this could be. And like so many different people went through my head, right? And they told me where it was like a couple hours before. It's like Milk Studios, like the most famous Hollywood studio that there is. And when I rolled up, I was just like, who?
Did you ride the bike there?
Yeah. Yeah. And
don't touch the pipes.
Dude, for real. The security guard standing outside, I was like, hey, whose bodyguard are you? And he's like, oh, like Beyonce's. And I was like, no fucking way. No fucking way, dude. And like straight up, I was like in there with them, like helping them move the bike. And Beyonce came out and like she was just standing right in front of me. And she was just like, hey, babe, like I love your tooth. I had like a gold tooth thing in. And I was just like, hey, I'm Becky. And in that moment, I was like, fuck, I have the worst name ever to introduce Beyonce to. It was like my fucking name. I should have lied.
Should have said Axel.
I know, dude.
Would have been cool. You would have been cooler.
Totally. And I was like, yeah, this bike, it's like built for like us small women. She's like the same height as me. And she's like, I love it. I want one. And I was like, oh, I can build you one.
Yeah, well, yeah, you can.
Yeah. And so yeah, sure enough, I showed her, I was like, this is how this bike like moves. And like, you can sit right on it, get on there. She's like, okay, cool. And I just moved away and she just got on the seat with her knee and put her foot on the top of my tall ass sissy bar and was like crawling on it like a cat, like her arm was on the front pipe and shit. And I just stood there and I was like, because I didn't know it was going to be her, right? So this all happened so fast. And I was just looking at this scene of Beyonce on my bike. And I was just like, this, like taking pictures.
Life is so strange.
Yeah. It was the craziest moment of my life, man. I'll tell that story till the day I fucking die.
Did you get a picture with her?
No.
You got a picture of Brad Pitt though.
Yeah.
Yeah, when Brad Pitt was there, Everybody
Poor
was
guy.
going crazy, right?
His nipples were so
Brad Pitt's here,
hard.
Brad Pitt's here. And I was like, whatever. You know what I mean? I was like, I love Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
But I'm like, what am I going to, I was like, whatever. And I didn't think anything of it. And I was like, whatever, he's probably whatever. And I heard that he was talking to Max. I know he knows Max Schaff. And I was like, okay, whatever. And I just thought that I was like, I'm not going to see him.
Yeah.
And then I walked and I saw him from a distance.
Because he's wearing white.
Pretty far away.
Yeah.
But recognizable Brad Pitt. And surprisingly, I was just like, whoa.
Well, yeah.
I was like, so crazy.
He's like one of the most famous people in the world. Like,
I mean, he is.
he is.
He's fucking Brad Pitt.
It's Brad Pitt. Yeah, dude. I just had to get the pic.
Yeah. I saw him from a distance and it affected me.
Yeah. Ew.
And
He's just a guy.
I just felt it though. But he's a guy that I've watched a ton of movies.
Yeah.
He's a guy that like I think is cool. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, if I would have like,
I wonder if he's like, I'm fucking Brad Pitt. I wonder if he's like, knows.
Okay, here's what I'll say. I watched this interview with him a couple of years ago, and the interviewer asked him, he's like, they're talking and blah, blah, blah. I was like, well, let me ask you this question. What would you do if you could be invisible for a few hours? And it was just a mild question. And then Brad Pitt, like if you watch this video, when he hears that question, he literally just goes into himself and thinks. And you could just see this face light up where he's just like, I would just walk down the street. I would just walk down the street and like go into a store. And he's like blown away by the idea that he could just go somewhere and not be Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, and that's how it is. Cause he can't just go to Born Free and walk around without fucking 100 girls going,
Can I get a picture from my mom?
I mean, it was wild. And I understand it because I saw him and there's an effect.
Dude, COVID must have been nice for all them because they just put a mask on. And now you kind of can wear a mask around. And sometimes in LA, like where I live, you see these fucking people with masks. I can't help but accost everyone I see wearing a mask on. In LA, I just think they're famous people because it's their chance. Right? I would be wearing one if I was like Brad Pitt.
No way. No way. Well, I'm going to check out the picture of Beyonce. I got to see it now.
So I know we're going to end quick, but her whole tour, Renaissance tour, was chrome, everything. Like her outfits were like chrome and all that. And my Sportster is chrome tank. It's like a piece of shit though. Like it's cool bike for sure. But yeah, every piece of my bike is like really shiny. And that was like the launch of her like tour. And I never all clicked until I watched her concert stuff. And I was like, she picked out my bike. Wow. And like used it to start her like whole tour and shit. Dude, it's just like, I don't know.
Did that gig pay a bunch of money?
It was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I would have known it was Beyonce, it would have been a little different.
She could afford it.
Yeah.
Well, I wish we had more time because we just talk about shit forever.
Yeah.
But we're going to kill it.
Yeah.
We're going to get kicked out.
Dude, I don't want to be in here. We got dark.
Oh, man. You can stay tonight and you got to check out the solitary confinement shit. It is trippy.
I'm like scared to go near it if I'm like around anyone who I don't trust.
They'll lock you in there for an hour or something?
Yeah, I already don't trust anybody.
In these cells down here,
there's
like, they all operate on a honeypot system. There's no plumbing. So there's a bucket that you would piss and shit in, and then you slide the bucket in this little hole and close the door on it. And every day they empty the bucket. So you can see it in there. You see the honeypot system going on in there.
Imagine you're the guy who has to get the bucket.
It's another inmate that has to get the bucket.
Oh, that would, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Another inmate trustee.
Mm-hmm. My dad worked in.
So imagine if you're in prison and you get special perks, but you have to clean the honeypots to get the special perks. How these special perks better be real good. You better get an extra pork chop or something.
Yeah, no shit. I would fuck with my homie who was cleaning out the pods. I'd like eat a bunch of corn and shit and be like, oh, that sucks for you.
Oh. Well, thank you for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And I guess that's it.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Well,
we're out of time.
Fun weekend. I'll come up here and get tattooed by someone. I'm hoping.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I guess or do you want to ask me?
Rewind. We don't edit, so this is all going to be straight like
really?
this.
Shit, sorry.
Yeah. No. You can find you on the internet. You're active on the internet.
Yeah.
And what else? Do you have a website?
Yeah. Yeah. My full-time job is a brand that I own.
Yeah.
That is just selling merchandise that has reverse, like old sexist biker sayings.
Love
but
that.
like swapped around in the voice of a woman. So
Love that.
My website is actuallyitsaxel.com. Like that whole thing. Actuallyitsaxel.com. And that's the same as all my social medias. So YouTube, all of this podcast and like everything, not the podcast, but everything I'm doing today and tomorrow will be a vlog on my YouTube. It's Axel. My Instagram's It's Axel. And I do TikTok too, unfortunately.
You're on the TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not on the TikTok yet. I say yet, but I don't know if I ever will be. Who knows? I never say never. So last question real quick. A lot of people call you Axel.
Yeah.
But you introduce yourself as Becky.
Yeah, my name is Becky.
Do you ever introduce yourself as Axel?
No. Unless it's a creepy fucking weirdo. That's how the name like started. It was a fake name to tell dudes I didn't want to tell my name to. Or if like I gave my number to someone I didn't want to give my number to, I tell them my name's Axel. So then if they're like, "Hey Axel," I know that's not someone that I want to talk to.
But you gave them the real number.
Well, if they're like standing right there, they'll be like, "Oh, well, I'll text you right now." You know. Guys are fucking weird. So yeah, and then if I'm out and about here tomorrow or whatever, and someone's like, "Oh, hey, Axel," like you probably know that like I'm not actually friends with that person, and like they're just someone who I know from the internet.
But you answer to it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously now it's become like my name, but my homies wouldn't call me that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all right. You heard it here. Thank you so much, and we'll see you tomorrow. It's gonna be great.
Thank you for having me.
Fuck yeah. Hey, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Come on, guys, click all those links, push all those buttons, because it really helps us out and gets us out there to more and more peeps. What in the Duck podcast is produced by Audra Cabral and John.com Niederkorn. Our sound, video engineer, and editor is Courtney, Junior Larkins. Initial audio video setup and intro music by Blake Balake Pinchon. And a big thanks to everyone that submitted questions. Y'all keep them coming. Email me any questions you would like me to answer to whatintheduckpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on What in the Duck. What in the Duck podcast is proud to be sponsored by Label Solutions, www.labelsolutionsinc.com. I've been a customer of theirs for over a decade. They make the highest quality premium labels for all kinds of products. Food and beverage, personal care products, pet care products, beer and wine spirits, CBD products, automotive products, and more. They can make a label for almost anything. Multicolor, custom die cut, full wraparound labels, too many options to even tell you about. I use Label Solutions for all the stickers and labels for my stuff, like the Tiki Loco label on the coffee I'm drinking right now. They do have a minimum order of 1,000 labels, so they won't make you 20 labels for that soap you're making in your bathtub. But if you've got products to label, you need Label Solutions. Get started today at www.labelsolutionsinc.com.